I'm not like just confirming we're on tomorrow. I'm like, hey, you paid me a lot of money. That I don't say that, but I need these three things. And the impact is not so that I can make sure they show up. It's because I'm legit working on the appointment that I'm about to go on with them and to give them my advisement. But I want you to bring that same energy. You are not a vacuum salesman. You're not selling knives. You are a very successful real estate agent, and your time is incredibly valuable. And that's the energy. And you're also low key assuming the appointment's on. So that will absolutely get more responses than any other appointment confirmation. Let's do a deep dive on Ryan. And as you look back in 2025, I'm sure there's things that crushed and things that didn't. Just give me when you think about your year professionally, what's some stuff that worked? You can keep it high level. I don't need specifics.
So actually, too, a lot of the little tips and just to get in the foot in the door with these calls that you provided and others, they've worked. I feel really confident now on the calls. The big part is getting them to answer, getting them on the phone, and then just being able to get to that next step. But no, actually, it's just from day one to now. I think it's come a long way, and I think a lot of it's been also just the sheer volume. 150 plus leads. It's like, I don't know if it's compassion fatigue or what, but you're like, all right, screw it, let's just hop on. And the more direct and kind of, obviously you have to know your stuff and prepare, but it's kind of like golf. Sure. I think you golf, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I've tried to have that mindset. It's like you want to prep as much as possible and you want it, but you can't be super focused on the outcome, like whether it's going to be good or bad. Cause the more you harp on it and worry about it, then the more stressed you end up feeling or sounding. And then that influences the swing or influences the conversation.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, something I was telling, so I just got out of another meeting with a group of 6 agents, and something I was telling them that they were finding a lot of you mentioned the appointment, and the people that didn't show up for the appointment, I asked them, I was like, well, how are you doing your reminders? And a lot of them were, hey, just confirming we're on for tomorrow at 3 or whatever. And I was like, okay, don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how's that been? Because I feel like every time I do that, it almost is like it's just a death knell right off the bat. I think it almost like it scares them from the conversation.
Well,
and I mean, Ashley does that as well, but I've been just turning off the bot.
Yeah, well, I know that if I was, no disrespect to Cutco knives, but I know if I was selling Cutco knives for a living and I had a demonstration appointment tomorrow at 3, I would say, hey, just confirming we're on for tomorrow at 3. I'm no different than somebody that sells knives in that messaging. So what you do is you don't say, hey, Chris, you're not muted, just so you know. So the
Monday,
what I do is I'll say, hey, John, I'm preparing for our appointment tomorrow at 3. Just confirming, have you done any major upgrades to the home I
like that. I like that. Okay.
So what's happening, and it doesn't have to be, if you already know if they've done upgrades, then pick another question. I want it to be an easy question. Like, have you done any landscaping? Maybe they did upgrades, but you didn't know if they did landscape. I don't care what it is. I want them to know I'm working on tomorrow, working on the appointment. So there's a degree of like, oh man, this guy's already preparing. And then I'm also low key. The secondary thing that's happening is I'm confirming the appointment. That's what a busy consultant does. Like, when someone hires me as a consultant, I am really, really expensive. Like, I would not pay to see Beyonce for the amount of money that people pay me to and I'm just being transparent with you. And
that's because you can make them even more, but yeah.
Yeah. Like, and so when they hire me, I'm not like just confirming we're on tomorrow. I'm like, hey, you paid me a lot of money. That I don't say that, but I need these 3 things. And the impact is not so that I can make sure they show up. It's because I'm legit working on the appointment that I'm about to go on with them and to give them my advisement. But I want you to bring that same energy. You are not a vacuum salesman. You're not selling knives. You are a very successful real estate agent, and your time is incredibly valuable, and that's the energy. And you're also low key assuming the appointment's on. You're not asking. You're just like,
Yeah.
So that will absolutely get more responses than any other appointment confirmation. I'm not saying more people will show up to the appointments, but you will get way more appointments, because at that point you're not asking, are we still meeting? You're just acting like you're meeting. So it just works better.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's the same thing as just always bringing value to it. And that's one thing I do not ever do anymore is just check in. That's like the worst thing, obviously, that we can do, and that I've learned. But yeah, exactly, same deal. Right along those lines.
So I was on that, like I said, the meeting before. Now this is a buyer example, but I use a service called WhisperNet or WhisperFlow, excuse me. And so I can just hold down the function key on my laptop and start talking, and AI adds commas and periods. So this is voice to text. And so the area is Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach. They're considering selling their home, and I want to send a text message that includes data about her home that is compelling. So I asked ChatGPT, analyze current market trends. Think about what a homeowner who is considering selling and buying would give me a cool data point that looks like I'm in touch. Prepare it in a text message that's not salesy, value-based, and very likely to get engagement. And in 17 seconds, this isn't too long for me. This is the one that I told them to go with, but inventory is up 13.5% year over year. Prices are still up almost 5%. Homes are selling in 31 days. Want me to run a quick sell by snapshot for your address? That's lead nurture. This is lead nurture. And
can I see the prompt can you scroll up so I can screenshot the prompt?
Yeah, actually, I'll put it in chat for you, buddy.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. And then you use WhisperNet, you said?
I use WhisperNet because I don't want to type all that.
Right? Okay, yeah. You just type.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. So I just start brain dumping, and WhisperNet is WISPER. It's cool to misspell things, I guess. Actually, no E, WhisperFlow. And I have it on my iPhone, which I don't use a lot. I have it on my desktop, and all I do is, because ChatGPT does have a dictate mode, by the way. So like you could come here, and if I go to new chat, so this is dictate. So it can do it without buying WhisperFlow. And then this is voice mode, where it's a conversation that you're having with ChatGPT, but dictate is where it'll just transcribe every word I'm saying. So you can use dictate. You don't have to get Whisper, but you just start talking like, hey, I'm in this specific area. I've got a person buying and selling. I really want market data that's compelling. I want it to be engaging. I want data that is going to get them to respond. And then I want you to take that data and I want you to write it in an SMS that is likely to get an engagement. And then what I told the agents, take that text message and make it your own. Like, I personally would not say this way. Like the way that ChatGPT wrote the text message is not my voice. So let me go back real quick. Where is it? There it is. So, hey, VB market check. Inventory is up, yet prices are still up 4.9%. Thinking and homes are selling in 31 days. Want me to run a quick sell by snapshot for your address? I would probably say, would you like me to do a sell by snap? That's more me. So I told them I would probably change that. I would also change the VB market check. I don't like how it said that either, but I just need the data and I don't want to have to go mine for it. So with the leads that you're nurturing, that's just like you said, to your point, you're like, I'm not just doing the check-in anymore. But finding compelling data is a lot of work. So if you go to ChatGPT, type in a prompt like what I just did, it's going to give you really sexy information that you can just grab off a shelf and start inputting it. In fact, I'm going to go back to that same prompt and say, okay, this was exactly what I needed. Now I need my agents to have 3 to 4 more outreach style, outreach content based text messages. Give me a few more. Let's just see what it comes up with.
Well, 1 second. Hey, what's up, bud?
All right. So
In the office.
active listings are up. Wait. Okay. So it's still doing the same thing. Value based. An interesting shift here in Hampton Roads. More homes are on the market than last year, and yet prices are holding strong around 360 to 375 median. So that's now we're giving medians. Homes are still selling in a few weeks once priced right. That's interesting. That means staging, pricing, and timing matter more than ever.
Absolutely. That's
Insight that invite questions. Trends worth noting in our area. Inventory has climbed, but month supply is still below what we'd call a balanced market. Sellers still have leverage when priced correctly. Right. By the way, Rain MLS is my MLS. It's pulling from my market.
okay.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah. So yeah, we just want to continue to press into that lead nurture that we've been doing, grabbing compelling market data. Do you have any sellers that are like close, but they just like maybe they were like wait till the spring or anything like that?
No sellers. I got a bunch of buyers that are ready. In fact, that's what I'm working on right now. Kind of,
Okay.
We're talking, but yeah, I was gonna pick your brain on this.
Yeah.
There's so we've been in discussions with this listing agent. It started off $2.75 million property. It's a legacy lot out here in Morro Bay. I don't know if you're familiar with our area. Yeah, beautiful little central coastal California town. Beautiful lot, and the place is just absolutely it's close to dilapidated. It's like it's on its last leg. They put this tower up that's not even affixed to anything. The big issue was the VA loan. It just wasn't it wasn't going to clear section 1. The seller and the agent were afraid of the appraisal, so they kind of Scooby-Dooed us. They shut it down before we could even get to that point. And then I mean, obviously it wasn't their decision to do so, but they did everything they could to make it to scare my buyers away. And ultimately I don't think it was the worst thing, because we're now back in negotiations and they might end up getting their price. We're talking at getting it at 2.2. But the issue again still being the VA loan. So we're talking about owner financing, which initially was the sellers. That was actually they brought it to the table, and the buyers absolutely were receptive to it. Now of course they're kind of balking at the owner carry. Now they're like, well, why don't they just list it ahead of time? I actually just went through this with some other buyers. It was a purchase that was going to be contingent upon the sale of their property, and this is actually friends of theirs, so they kind of saw this happen, and we wasted a lot of time. We marketed it. We actually obtained a buyer, got it under contract, and then all to find out that they were just using it to leverage another deal. We actually thought they were just dueling it, and that was it. The whole thing was just to get their guy up. We found out it wasn't a duel, luckily. Otherwise, honestly, there might have been we may have had to talk to the board about that. It's still kind of dirty how they did us. So we're trying to figure out how to make this work. So right now we're looking at, again, purchasing it at 2.2 with like 60-day $20,000 option, or like a non-refundable deposit, essentially. And it's a little scary, obviously, for the buyers. They don't want to put down that money and then not get the price for their home, which I think if we list it right, just like you were saying, if the place is nice, it shouldn't be hard to sell. We should be able to get their price for it, which if we can get 1.4, 1.5 for it, we're golden all day. And then, but the thing being, I guess, is still just if the market kind of stalls, if it's not as active as we're hoping it is in the beginning of the year here, what happens then? They lose out on that 20,000. We're talking actually 20,000 for a 60-day hold or 30,000 for a 90-day hold, being that the seller right now, I know this is a lot coming at you. I should have this written down.
You're good. I'm following.
So if we can get it sold within 60 days or 90 days, we should be good. But again,
who came up with the idea for that?
So he actually, the listing agent is the one that threw that out there. In our initial or our second offer, the second time around, we threw out 90 days without the non-refundable clause, and just get us into contract and give us 90 days to sell the place. And the seller was understandably hesitant about it because of his $10,000 a month holding costs on this property, which it's funny because we found out the backstory. He kind of there were a couple nuns living in this place, and I know you don't need to know all this, but it is kind of funny. He ended up it sounds like he just bent him over. This place is worth well more, and he ended up getting it for 1.5. And now, of course, he tried to turn around with no work put into it, trying to sell it for 2.75, and then just was not playing ball for the longest time. We sat back, and they came back to us. And so
let me ask a question. So you're dealing with a very shrewd seller,
correct?
Can you, in your market, are you allowed to list your buyer's home, and when they get an offer, accept it, and just make the acceptance of the offer contingent on them getting their purchase on this?
Correct. And that's what I just helped their friends do. And unfortunately it didn't go through. So we put in, and I don't mind putting in the work. I do feel bad for the family. They, again, their friends, we just went through this. They actually did a bunch of work on the place to get it ready to sell. And then they were out and on the streets for a few hours. Actually, we did like 3 open houses in 1 week because we were pushing it so hard, at a time. So it was kind of tough for them. It wasn't the hardest thing in the world, but
I just can't imagine avoid that. The amount of pressure that you would put yourself under, knowing that if you don't get an offer in 90 days, your buyers are out 20 grand. And honestly, they'll probably never trust you again.
Oh, 100%. That'd be, yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't do that. I would be like, why don't you just get an offer on the house? Then you.
So, and that's what he's pushing for. And maybe that is the way to go. I just had a conversation with this seller's agent this morning, and I feel like they're still in a better position to, if we did lock it up without the option, without that non-refundable deposit, if we could lock it up for 60 days, 90 days, give us a chance to sell my buyer's property, that they're in a better position to still market their place for back and obtain backup offers than my buyers are to do what we just did with their friends, which was market it, have them out while we're doing open houses. It's pretty, it's an inconvenience for them. And it's also, it's kind of not fair. We saw this with the buyers that we got, one offer, but a lot of interest, and a lot of buyers they spent a lot, and their agents spent a lot of time, on this property and they thought that it was going to be a place they could purchase, which ultimately wasn't once we didn't get the other property, that the replacement property.
I mean, I would just call the buyers and say, let's just get the home on the market. Let's just list it. If we have somebody that's interested in the home, then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to make it contingent on getting this other home under contract. And then we can just say to the home that they want to buy, are there any other buyers currently for that home?
No, that's why they are dipping back into our well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would rather the loss be, we found a buyer for the home that we listed, and we hoped that your home would be available, but it's sold. And then you can tell, then the buyers that you have that have listed their home, they're safe because you added that contingency that says contingent on us finding another home. You don't have to make it that address. It could be general. Like, you got to, well, we accept your offer. I need 30 days to find somewhere to live. Like, make it general. So they're
Yep.
safe. They've got options. And
Yep.
then you don't have to say my buyers aren't willing to do the 20,000, right? All you get to say is, hey, thank you so much for that question. It was so compelling and they got so excited. We just went ahead and listed the home. Let me see if I can grab a contract on in a couple weeks. Like you avoid, because if you say no, we don't want to do that, it makes it sound like we're afraid we can't get an offer. It's like, good news.
Yes, sir.
We got the offer, we're listing it, so
More the opposition or the fear that we expressed to the agent was if we go through all that and they end up finding another buyer elsewhere.
Yeah.
And we've done that for nothing. Again, it's they just saw
when you say we've done that for nothing, you've done that for nothing.
True, but it's also an inconvenience for my buyers, which would be
Like
sellers at that point. Yeah, not just the listing, but kicking them out for the open houses, just everything that goes with it. It's not the worst, but yeah, it sounds like that is the way.
I mean, but I just can't imagine. I mean, talk about pressure, dude. Like they'd be calling you every night. Like any buyers, any interest? Like your first quarter of 2026 would suck. Like unless you got a buyer really fast. And I mean, I'm sure, I don't know, your market seems healthy, so I'm sure you'll find one, but I don't know. I would rather set it up for safety and then to be honest with you, like find out what the rhythm of their family is. Are there days of the week where maybe the kids got a baseball game and they're gone anyway? Like, I don't know, do open houses around their schedule, get creative and stuff.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I wouldn't do the contingency for 20 grand.
Agreed. Okay. That is helpful.
Yeah. No problem. And I mean, whenever I've got a situation where I'm dealing with a difficult scenario or difficult clients, I always take the approach with the agent. I don't want the listing agent to have a full pulse on my clients at all. Like, I don't want them really to understand them. I make it about me. I'm like, man, John, I really want to get this deal closed, man. Like, I make it about my selfish motive to get commission. Like, and I'm like, I'm just trying to figure it out. So I always set myself as a separate entity in these situations. A lot of times agents will say, hey, my buyers and I discussed, and we felt like this was the best move. So now the agent goes back to their seller and says, the seller doesn't think they're going to be able to sell it. So basically I make my personality in the conversation so big and my own interests so big that I kind of shield the other side from understanding my seller, at least in the beginning. Once it's ratified, I can't really do that. I can't be like, yeah, we did the home inspection and I feel like this is what we need. No, I mean, at that point, like there's not, but I don't care. I got them under contract, right? So I kind of act as a buffer to the other side as long as I can so that I can keep them guessing.
Okay.
Yeah. And
like that.
So then, something else that I've been telling the agents, if you can have 5 conversations a week with new relationships, 20 to 25 conversations a month with new relationships, that's open houses, that's sphere of influence, that's leads. That should be 3 to 4 new clients a month that you should be able to acquire. And so going into the new year, consistency is going to win the day. And I've had to coach myself. I've got a lot of my next book is supposed to be in the editor's hands in the next few weeks. I'm neck deep in getting an MBA. I'm doing consultant work for all these companies. It's a lot. And I am falling back in love with a little bit of work every day. And that's the last thing I want to encourage those of you on this call and those watching. I think sometimes we put off prospecting for a week and then we have an open day. And so we nail it for 6 hours. And that's cool. At least you're getting something done. It's better than nothing. But I really am getting to the point in my life that I've got to stop focusing on the end result so much and I just need to stop looking forward so much. I need to look down and just do the daily grind that I need to do every day. And then, maybe at the end of the month or the end of a quarter, you can look back and see all the wonderful things you've done. I think it's time for us to really get back to work, and do the small things, the little things that people have been avoiding, especially those of you, like Ryan said, he's got his kids home. I've got mine home. It's hard during the last half of December and then the first few days of January to kind of stay focused. And so, I think that it's a big deal, and it's something that I know I'm preparing for about 800,000 more homes to sell this year than last year nationally, which is about, a 20% increase in transaction count. That's what I'm budgeting for. I'm hiring agents for that. I'm preparing my systems for that. I'm setting up everything as if we're going to see a big shift. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, okay? But I've listened to 4 really intelligent, very in touch people with regards to the mortgage market, the real estate market, the industry as a whole, and changes that are supposed to be coming. Really wealthy, really intelligent people are planning for this to occur. So I've made the educated decision, risk, opinion, whatever you want to call it. This is what I'm going to do. So if you were to add 20% of increase into your business from last year to this year, do you have enough systems in place? Do you have enough admin in place? Do you have a structured enough schedule to prepare for that? Right? If you're not of that mindset, and this market change happens, you'll eventually adjust. Okay. So let's compare it to me. I have agents in my market that are going to do the same thing they did last year that they're doing this year, the same work, the same systems, the same admin, all that. And I'm going to have a 3 to 4 month head start on them. After about 3 months, they're going to add the admin. They're going to add the systems, right? They're going to do all that. But I experienced this in 2011. And those 3 to 4 months of momentum were so significant in my business that the impact of 2011 that it had on my career, I am still financially being impacted by 2011 today, 14 years later, because that's the year that I got so much attention from that bump, that momentum, that I started to hire agents, that I started to build my team, that became a brokerage, that became a teamerage, and all of my investment properties, all my consultant work. It all started to fold into each other because of 4 months of runway. Actually, I would say probably 6 months of runway against my competition, because people, once the market picks back up, they're going to reactivate their license. Once the market backs up, teams and agents are going to invest back in their business. That means right now, I'll just tell you, I'm uncomfortable. I am spending more money preparing for this than I personally want to. Right now, I'm like I just spent $20,000 on something before this call, and I'm like really uncomfortable. I'm like, gosh, I don't want to do this right now. And I did it because I'm preparing for rain. If you think it's going to rain, you bring an umbrella. I'm preparing for rain. So I'm not telling you to go spend $20,000, but what I am saying is you've got to start taking some risks with your schedule, with your money, with your systems. If you want to make more money this year than last year, there's going to be an opportunity for it, but it's not going to happen accidentally, because in this business, people that go after it are the ones that get it. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you always got. So it is going to require that we level up, we stay focused, we get the job done. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Well, Ryan, next week, let me know how it goes with that client. I'm interested to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard another good, it sounded like another good golf analogy you had in there. You said, keep your head down. Don't look up to the results. Don't be lifting the head. Just eye on the ball.
Yes. Eye on the ball. Very simple. There is something beautiful and powerful in the simplicity of just making a decision to look down and do the work every day. I think it's so overlooked because we're all swinging for the fences. We're all looking for that next home run instead of just plodding along. And I'm obsessed with it, man, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks.
Bye bye.